Have you been wondering about Sydney home prices and how unaffordable they seem to be getting?
Sydney was recently ranked the second most unaffordable housing market in the world, according to a respected report. And what about Melbourne? There's been a long history of rivalry between these two major Australian cities, including when it comes to housing. What's interesting is that, despite closely tracking Sydney's housing market for many years, the gap between Sydney and Melbourne housing affordability has started to widen. And it's now the widest it's been for 20 years, according to the report. The report in question is the Demographia International Housing Affordability Report, or DIHA for short. The DIHA has been ranking housing affordability across Australia's major cities and several other global housing markets since 2005. It ranks housing affordability based on median price to income ratios, or median multiples. In its 2024 report, both Sydney and Melbourne were categorised as impossibly unaffordable, with median multiples of 13.8 and 9.8 respectively. Incidentally, the category of impossibly unaffordable was only introduced in 2024 due to increasingly unaffordable house prices across the globe. And while Sydney's affordability has worsened since 2023, Melbourne's has improved. And the median multiple gap between Sydney and Melbourne is now 4, the widest since 2005. So what's happening to housing affordability between Sydney and Melbourne? Well, while Sydney appears to be benefiting from favourable government policies and strong net migration, Melbourne hasn't benefited as much from these factors. Melbourne has also been affected by increases to Victorian land taxes, and this has prompted asset-rich but cash-poor landlords to sell their poorer performing properties. And as a result, housing price growth has stalled in Melbourne, as many commentators have observed. So, does this make Melbourne more attractive than Sydney right now for buying a home? Possibly, says Miriam Sandcooler, CEO and founder of Property Mavens, a leading buyers agency. Melbourne's improving affordability is an opportunity for home buyers, says Sandcooler in a recent article for the Australian Property Investor magazine. Continued population growth and high rental returns, with improving affordability, makes Melbourne best placed to be the leading property destination over the next 5 years, suggests Sandcooler. So, what do you think? Is Melbourne more attractive than Sydney for buying residential property?